169 is the number of movies and films of everything that I watched in 2018. I know this video is a little bit late. It is already February in 2019 already, but you know, for the past month, I've been on jet lag, I've been doing other stuff. I haven't had the time to really sit down and film this video because this video is going to be a really long, really long video. Well, I consider this as a podcast, so you can really watch this video as a podcast. What a podcast is that when you're doing something else, when you're driving, when you're doing something else, when you're you can really just listen to this piece of video, this piece of audio. You don't necessarily need to watch it. So of course, everything that I will be talking about in this podcast or video, everything will be in the description and the time frame of that section, so I don't waste any of your time. So if you just want to listen to the best of the year list, go jump in that. Everything is in the description. If you just want to listen to some performances or cinematography, whatever that I will be talking about in this video, just go down the description, click on the time frame, go to that, maybe listen to that 10 minutes or 5 minutes, and then you can move on with your life so that I can move on with my life, so we don't waste any time. So if you are new here, thank you very much. It's been a wild year in 2018. This is also going to be a wrap up of the channel, really, because 2018 was kind of when I started it, and I decided to start it. When I was beginning this channel, I decided to make at least a video every month to that, you know, the monthly catch-up videos. And then as I do that, I began to realize, okay, I can actually keep this up with every single movie that I watch. So I decided to do that. It begins with reviews, because that was really, I feel like that was like a placeholder for this channel, because at the time I didn't know what to do with this channel. So I was like, okay, I'll just make reviews first, and then as I do it, I'll kind of figure out what I would do next. And then of course I did. I started doing video essays because I think that is the healthier side of things. I don't want to just watch a movie, sit down, talk about it for 10 minutes, edit it, and upload it everything in 3 hours. It just feels so effortless. It's boring, and I don't want to be that person that grade movies and judge movies and whatnot, because as an inspiring filmmaker, I would like to see something that maybe a lot of people don't see, and then really dig deep on that, explore that, and talk about, you know, the meaning behind things. And I think that's where this channel lies for now, at least. So without further ado, let's just move on with this video, this podcast. In this podcast, I will be talking about some of the best theater experience I had in 2018, some of the best performances in 2018, the weirdest movies. These are the films that I thought was, oh shit, when you watched it you were like, okay, what the fuck was that? I will be talking about those. And of course there are a lot of other lists that I just made them up and I thought it was funny, so then of course we'll talk about those later. The best looking ones, the best score, some of the goriest films, TVs, I will include that. Maybe games, everything that I watched, that includes everything. I mean it. And of course, everything leading up to my top 10 list. Jesus Christ, top 10 list of 2018. So I will kind of go a little bit fast in the beginning because there are a lot of things to talk about. I would just maybe like mention a name and then we'll move on. So starting with the first list that I made is my best theater experience in 2018. These are the films that I walked out I felt something. It felt like, okay, this is why I love going to the theater. This is why I love to see movies when they're coming out in the opening weekend. And the first one being Hereditary. I will not forget that experience because even though I watched it in the morning, I remember that night I couldn't sleep. I couldn't fall asleep really well because of that clicking noise constantly. And I just can't get it out of my head. That film really affected me, at least that day. It's one of the scariest shit I've ever seen. It got into me. Next one being Mission Impossible Fallout. I watched it in IMAX twice. It was fantastic. Although it was 2.5 hours, I loved every single second of that. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This film, I watched it 3 times in theater. I feel like I like it every single time I go. The artwork is fantastic, the score, everything is great. Searching is another one. I remember watching that, giving me the chills when every single piece of information is revealed. We get that oh shit moment. Searching was great. Juliet Naked is another one. Not a lot of people saw this one, But I remember walking into the theater, and then there were just a bunch of old elderly people around me, and they loved it. I loved the movie as well. We were laughing, we were having a good time. Great movie. A Quiet Place is another one. A Quiet Place is that type of movie where you go in, that when you expect those assholes that would talk through the movie, you don't get any of that in A Quiet Place, because when everyone was watching and no one wants to make a sound, not even like a popcorn eating sound, nothing. There's complete silence, and I absolutely love the experience. Next one being 2001: A Space Odyssey. Nothing beats this one this year. 2001: A Space Odyssey is probably the best theater experience I had that last year. It was in IMAX. I walked in, one other person was sitting next to me, and that's it. We watched the entire film in complete silence, and we get to experience that Stanley Kubrick in IMAX. I'm so grateful. Next one being Schindler's List. It went to Dolby, even though it's a little bit weird because you get that cutoff when it transformed from the 185 to 1 to Dolby's version. You get a cut off on the top and at the bottom, so that sometimes characters' face are cut off. Is a little bit weird. But Schindler's List, I get to watch that in theater. Not a lot of people can say that. So, you know, I'm masterpiece. I love it. Next, the last one of this list is Free Solo. I remember watching this one in theater, and when I remember making that video, I specifically said, go watch this one in theater, because you're not going to get the same experience when you're watching at home or anywhere else, because the theater, you have that bigger screen, and then you get that sound and that you can't get anywhere else. And Free Solo is that type of movie. You watch it, it gives you the goosebumps, it gives you chills. That line that I said in that video, I remember specifically, is that the theater was cold. I was wearing a short and flip flop or something. The theater was cold, but I was sweating like a motherfucker. Free Solo. Next list, we have the best performances of the year. There are a lot of great performances from 2018, but of course I'm not gonna watch every single movie of 2018, so I can't really, you know, just have everything on here. If I miss someone, I'm sorry. Feel free to leave it in the comments of what I missed. I grabbed the best I could. I'm just gonna mention them one by one. I hope I get everything, but if just because they're not in the list doesn't mean that they didn't give a good performance. I just think that these are the performances that I thought was good enough or were worth mentioning. I don't know if that makes sense, but of course, I will miss something, so feel free to comment it below. Matt Dillon in The House That Jack Built. He plays a psychopath. He is a psychopath. I bought it. Kelly MacDonald in Puzzle. Fantastic performance. Jacob Cedergren. I don't know really how you pronounce that. It was in Guilty. I think it's a Danish film, I think. He looks like Macklemore. Go check that out. Cynthia and Erivo in Bad Times at the El Royale, No Place for a Priest. Laura Dern in The Tale, fantastic performance, one of the best of the year. Russell Hornsby in The Hate You Give. Saoirse Ronan and Margot Robbie in Margot Queen of Scots. Glenn Close in The Wife. She's killing it this year. Like, I never expect that, because no one watched The Wife. And then all of a sudden, she's picking up Academy Award nomination. She's picking up that Golden Globe. She's picking up that SAG Award. It's crazy. Jennifer Garner in Peppermint. Not a good movie, but I think she gave her best in that film. At least I think. Kristen Stewart in Lizzie. Not a lot of people saw that. Alicia Vikander in Tomb Raider. She gave her best. Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Hemsworth in Avengers Infinity War. When I watched that movie, those two actors really stood out for me. Of course, Josh Brolin as well. I'm sorry. Josh Brolin is on the list. Mid-90s. Nicole Smith in mid-90s. Just so real. I don't even think that he was acting. And it's just crazy. Sam Elliott in A Star Is Born, of course, worth the nomination. And it's just that one scene where he backs up a car. That scene alone, just fantastic. Bradley Cooper in A Star Is Born. Daniel Kaluuya, Elizabeth Debicki, Viola Davis in Widows. I would say the entire cast of Widows is fantastic. I'm actually really surprised that they didn't pick up anything this year. But They're great. They're great. Claire Foy and the girl in the Spider's Web and Insane and First Man. Everything that she did this year was fantastic. So unique, every single one of them too. Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali in Green Book. Great performances. Michael B. Jordan in Creed 2. I feel like after this movie, I can really say that he's probably one of the best actor working today. So real. All of the points that, you know, he delivers, man. Richard E. Grant and Melissa McCarthy in Can You Ever Forgive Me. I'm kind of rooting for Richard E. Grant for Best Supporting Actor, but also Sam Elliott is also really good. Steve Carell in Welcome to Marwen. A lot of people hate that movie. I thought he gave a good performance in, you know, Beautiful Boy and whatnot. Rami Malek, of course, in Bohemian Rhapsody. I can't ignore that. Charlize Theron in Tully. Great performance. What she did with her body that's dedication right there. Joaquin Phoenix in You Were Never Really Here. I don't think he picked up anything this year. Yeah, I don't think so. But fantastic performance. Ethan Hawke in First Reform. Of course, I'm going to include that. He's probably getting it. He's pretty probably getting it. Raphael Cassel or David Diggs in Blind Spotting. Great performance. Is so they don't pull any punches. You know, when they do their stuff, when they stay their line, it's out there and it's really raw. Natalie Portman in Vox Lux, great one. Rachel Weisz in Disobedience. Emma Stone, Olivia Colman in The Favorite. Of course, Rachel Weisz in The Favorite. I can also include that. Emily Blunt in A Quiet Place. Ooh, that bathtub scene. It just so I can't imagine. I think that was the first take that they ever did. And then when they're done, they were like, okay, we're done. Goddamn, man. Julia Roberts in Homecoming Season 1. Of course, I include a TV. I Can't Discriminate TV. Great performance. John Cho in Searching. It's kind of hard for me to imagine an actor acting right in front of a camera with nothing in front of him. And, you know, that's got to be something. Yalitza Aparicio. Is that how you pronounce it? She was in Roma. Just fantastic. I hope she gets like an Academy Award for Best Actress. I hope she gets it. And man, she did a fantastic job. Toni Collette in Hereditary, of course, and the last one being Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible Fallout. This dude, this motherfucker, he got it, man. He's 50, 60. He's in the 60 or 40, maybe. Fuck, I'm sorry, 50s. He's still running and jumping around like that. Boy, he doesn't even get nominated for anything. Okay, next list we have the weirdest movies. I think these are the films that after you watch it, you'll be like, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? And these are the film. Oh, actually, I just thought of one. Let me add another one. The first one being Annihilation. I remember watching this one the first time. I have no idea what the fuck just happened. I went back to the second time. I still don't know what the fuck was happening. And then I watched it the third time. I thought about it. I did some research. And then I thought, okay, there might be something there. Annihilation being the first one. Second one being The Border. I think this one was a Swedish film called The Grans. I'm not sure, but I think but in English it's called Border. This film is probably the most what the fuck, the weirdest movie of 2018. I can't say I like the film. The film was insane. There's this forest film. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. There's this forest scene. Jesus Christ, Howard, what the fuck is wrong with you? With two characters, they're doing something and something happened. Oh, that scene alone, I can't get that imagery out of my head. The House That Jack Built, of course. The last shot of the film was pretty interesting. The Ritual. I believe that this film came out in 2018. I'm not really sure, but The Ritual is in there. It's this cult movie that you don't really know what's going on. First Reformed, really controversial. I still don't know what's going on. It feels like First Reformed is that film that I watched it. I have no idea what I just watched, and I don't want to look into it. It's weird. Suspiria, of course, I have it in there. Mandy, it's not really confusing, but it's like that kind of what the fuck, you know, like Nicolas Cage, what the fuck. And the last one on this list is Sorry to Bother You. A lot of people love this movie. I really like it, and it's just that reveal, that twist at the end was like, okay, that was wild. Next list we have best rap scenes. Oh shit, sorry. There are surprisingly some really good rap scenes from 2018. Particularly, there are three that which I'm gonna be mentioning. Widows. There's a fantastic rap scene in Widows, with Daniel Kaluuya in it. So brutal. Sorry to bother you. There's a fantastic rap scene in it. It says so much about how we interpret our music nowadays. While he was rapping, he's really doing this social commentary about our society today, and it just, I thought it was so interesting. Last one being the blind spotting. There's this last rap scene in the final end. I found it extremely powerful. And yeah, these are the three rap scenes that I really love. I would say just go see each one of them for that rap scene alone. That rap, like, it's great. Okay, next one we have the best looking film. Of course, I'm not going to include everything. I might miss a couple here and there, but I'll try my best. These are the film that I thought, okay, they looked really good. And not necessarily cinematography. Maybe it was it's about how it was shot, how it was edited together, and special effect, practical effect. It can be anything. At least it's a good visual experience, I would say. Utoya, or You, July 22nd. It was all shot in one take. Fantastic. I have no idea how they did it. Mission Impossible Fallout. Great cinematography. The camera guy jumped out of the plane with everyone, and they did it multiple times. Wildlife, We the Animals, Avengers Infinity War. I feel like we are so desensitized to superhero movies nowadays that we don't really stop and slow down and then really talk about how good the special effects are. Sometimes they are a crush to the storytelling, but I'm just saying that they are good looking. Ant-Man and the Wasp. I thought that one was fantastic looking, but no one was talking about it for some reason. Thoroughbreds, it's another one really overlooked. Ready Player One, of course. Mandy, really like this acid trip kind of movie with the lighting and everything. Free Solo, there are shots in it, there are things in it that it's just so insane to think about how they actually pull it off, because there's this dynamic in the film that is that the documentarian shouldn't be filming the main character. Go watch Free Solo. I really like that. It's picking up a nomination in the Academy. That's rare. A Star Is Born, really good shot, really well shot. Widows with a Steve McQueen magic. Widows, great. Creed 2, Upgrade with Lee Whannell. Upgrade is the camera work, man. I put it in there because of the camera work. The budget is extremely low. They somehow made it that makes you feel that the budget was actually a lot higher. Upgrade was good. Incredibles 2, fantastic animation, good stuff. Hereditary was shot very uniquely. Is that a word? They like to linger their shot a little bit. Sometimes shot just stay there, and then there's something in the background that creeps in on you, and you don't really realize that is there in the first, at first, and then you realize, and then you pick it up, and then you'll be like, oh, fuck, I'm fucked. Leave No Trace, really colorful stuff. Sorry. The Favorite, I love the camera pans and stuff, and then it zooms in, and then I love that shit. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, of course I'm gonna include that. I would say this is probably the best animation I've ever seen. Probably. Roma, of course I'm gonna include Roma. This fantastic cinematography. There are so many shots in there that I would like to talk about. I would like to talk about two, maybe three. The opening shot with the floor, and then with the cleaning water and everything, with the airplane flying overhead. That shot. The second shot being a character is laying in the background, and there's some chaos happening in the background, and that shot just stayed there for minutes. Great stuff. And then the last one being there's this shot by the ocean. They were at the beach, and there's this shot that goes into the ocean, and then it comes back, and then it goes out back to the ocean again. Just great stuff. Blind Spotting, the lighting is great. Green Book, I'm surprised that Green Book didn't pick up anything this year about cinematography. I thought it was fantastic. Isle of Dogs is the last one. Of course, I'm going to include that. One of the best one of the year. Best looking, at least. I'm actually going faster than I thought. Next category is best score. I am a score guy. I don't know if that makes me weird, but what I do is that I watch a movie, I really like the score, I go on YouTube, I search up the score, I listen to the entire playlist. If I liked it, I download it, I put it in my phone, and I listen it when I drive. I don't know, I just listen to film score on a daily basis, and that's everything that I hear, everything that I listen to. No no pop music. I'm dying here. No pop music, no hip hop, no, I don't know, K-pop, no bullshit like that. Film score, dude. Nobody listens to film score. These are the score that I really love in 2018. And what I'm gonna do here is that we're gonna have a list. We're gonna have I'm gonna put them in order. So the best one I'm gonna leave it to last, and as I go along, it will be better progressively. I picked 9. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, I picked 9 out of everything. The first one being The Favorite. I really love the score, but they're not original, so I don't want to put them any higher. The Favorite was great. Number 8 was Howard Goodall and Johnny English Strikes Again. I thought the score was good. It wasn't anything extraordinary, but I thought the score worked so well with the film. It knows exactly what it is, and that's why it's on the list. Number 7, we have Ben Salisbury, these are weird names, and Jeff Barrow in Annihilation. Annihilation was great. That trailer song alone just grabbed me, and then it really captured that weirdness, that kind of sci-fi that you don't know what's really going on, that type of feels to it. The Shimmer, like that name alone, that name of the Shimmer is so weird in a way. You wonder what it means, and the score really supported that, I thought. Next one being Daniel Hart, The Old Man and the Gun. Daniel Hart made one of my favorite scores of all time last year in 2017, from A Ghost Story. I absolutely love that piece of score, and now here we go again. He did a fantastic job with this one, The Old Man and the Gun. And it feels like, have you played Diner Dash? If you have played that game back in those days, it really reminded me of that. And this is that type of score where I can listen to it. I don't have to think about anything. It relaxes you in a way. It's so relaxing, and I love it. Number 5 is I have Detroit Become Human. This is a game, okay? This is not a film. This is not a TV. This is a game, a story-based game. I love the game. I didn't play it. I watched somebody else play it. But the score, I found it so cool. So I looked them up. I listened to the entire thing. If you don't know, the score of Detroit Human is, 3 hours. Because there's 3 different storylines intertwining with each other. And they made they made a score for every single storyline in that. So we have 3 playing back to back with each other. I thought the Kara ones are probably the best. Connor and the other guy, I don't really remember, but I think Kara is the best. But Detroit Become Human as a whole is great. The music is by Philip Shepard, Nima Nima, John Pisano. I'm bad with names, but they did a good job with it. Number 4, we have the Newton Brothers in The Haunting of Hill House. It's a Netflix show directed by and created by Mike Flanagan. I thought the score was just great, so touching in a horror score. I don't usually listen to horror movies score on a regular basis because there are a lot of loud noises in there. There are things that I can't get into it unless I watch the movie. 2017, I thought the first, there are a couple of pieces in there that are pretty good that I would actually listen to, but everything in the middle, there are so many things in the middle that it goes quiet and then there's a loud bang. I don't want to listen to that, but The Haunting of Hill House doesn't give you any of that, because it knows what what's truly scary. It knows the scariest thing in the world isn't the ghost or anything like that. It's really about a broken family and how they try to, the story is about how they try to stay together and whatnot. I thought the score was great. Number 3, we have the number 3 spot, Daniel Pemberton, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I would say this disclaimer right here: number 1, number 2, and number 3. They're all my number ones. I can't really decide which one I like more. It just sometimes I want to listen to this one. Sometimes I like listening to that one a little bit better. So they can really change spot. Right now I put Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse by Daniel Pemberton in number 3. It can always change. I love the score. It's so comic booky, and it doesn't lose anything. It goes for that. I don't know how to describe it, but it's not a typical score with orchestra and everything. It's so electronic in a way. There are beats in the background that sometimes makes you think that you're listening to a hip-hop song, and it's just so exciting. The theme, the leap of faith theme, the Into the Spider-Verse, the first piece of the score. Of course, I have it on here. The Collider Destiny, Miyamoto, the MJ theme was fantastic. Catch the S Train, Gimme the Goober, Are You Ready to Swing? On Your Way, The Team Leaves. That score gets me every time. Shut It Down, Kingpin Fight, Aftermath. Just the entire a good piece of score is supposed to take you on a journey, take you to revisit that movie without actually watching it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is just another one of that. Number 2, we have Lorne Balfe, Mission Impossible Fallout. I absolutely love this score. I thought the score is a little bit too long. It's an hour and 40 minutes or something like that. I think it's just a little bit too long. But every single piece I love. Sometimes it gets a little bit loud. You can call it cliche, but it works so well with the picture that is presenting, and it tells a good story when you're listening to it. I know I'm probably the oddball right now because I realize that not a lot of people actually listen to film score and film scores alone, and I love it. I love Fallout. And number 1, I'll give you 3 seconds to guess what my favorite score of the year is. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Justin Hurwitz in First Man. Like I said, this is you can change the order for, number 1, number 2, and number 3. I love them equally. I just don't feel like I can listen to Fallout every single day. You know what I mean? Because it's so damn loud. It's so exciting. It makes you pump. But First Man is on the exact opposite, where I can probably listen every day. It's so beautiful. That whole melody that comes back constantly, I love it. That down, 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 down. Justin Hurwitz did La La Land, one of my favorite pieces of score of all time. Here he comes back again. There's this one piece that I don't like in the entire score. It's called Tunnel, or is it called Light Tunnel? It's called Tunnels, I believe. It's just 2 minutes of nothingness, and I don't want to listen to that. I deleted that. And of course, Karen was great. The landing was fantastic. It was probably one of the best out of the entire thing. End credit was great. The landing, docking. What is it called? The docking scene or docking Watts. Houston is another one that I really love. Yeah, it's just a really good piece of score. But of course, sometimes I want to listen to Fallout more than First Man. Sometimes I like Spider-Verse more than anything else. It's just the way it is right now. But I can absolutely change the order up later on. So yeah, we're done with this list. We're gonna move on to the next one. The next list, I made it up myself. I don't know what it's called, but I just call it shit ton of acts and perspectives, but I guess it's cool. These are the films that separate their screenplays in multiple different acts and multiple different perspectives, and sometimes, of course, the story supports it. The story needs them to be like that, but other time I was just like, okay, I guess that's a thing now. 2018, there are a lot of things that are like that. First one being The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. I guess this doesn't count because it is an anthology. I just thought, I don't know, I'll just put it here because there are 6 stories and whatever. The next one being The House That Jack Built. This film was separated into 5, I think so. I don't really remember, but 5 events, 5 series of events, and 1 epilogue at the end. Okay, it makes sense because the main character is actually telling the story, telling those 5 stories to another guy. So I guess that makes sense. Next one being Suspiria. I don't get it. I don't get the movie. I don't get the structure. It has 6 acts, an epilogue, and an after credit scene. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But I don't like for the people that love Suspiria. Please give me an explanation in the comments. But I just don't get it. I'm not saying I hate the film. I'm just saying that I don't understand the film. Next one being Bad Times at the El Royale. No Place for a Priest. This film plays with perspectives a lot. I love it. I like it. You know, I like how they play around stuff, and then it gives you a reveal that previous sequence might not explain. So for example, in a scene, it raises a question that you ask yourself, and then the next scene we play with another perspective. You see the same thing, but from another perspective that answers your question. And I thought that was pretty cool. I love when they play around perspectives and whatnot. It's cool. It's a cool thing. And the last one on this list is The Favorite. How many acts does The Favorite have? 8? I don't remember. There are a lot of acts. I just thought that was that really necessary? I don't know. You be the judge. Tell me in the comments what you think. The next list. The next list we have The Bloodiest and the Goriest. So these are the films that there are so many blood in there that if you like gore fest, wait, is that what's called gore porn? Gore fan. If you like gore, if you like blood, watch these movies because you're gonna enjoy yourself probably. First one being Upgrade. There are a couple of scenes, the fighting scenes, the kitchen scene was great, and Lee went out. He doesn't pull any punches, and when he does it, he does it. Revenge is another one. The film was alright. I get it. People liked that experience, but you know the story doesn't make any sense to me. But that scene where they're trying to put a piece of glass out of someone's foot, my God, one of the goriest thing I've ever fucking seen. Next one being Overlord. The Overlord, it talks about Nazi zombies. Of course it's gonna be gory because when you talk about Nazi zombies and you don't make it gory, who else want to fucking watch it, you know? Mandy is another one. I really love that Nick Cage style of killing people. The lighting kind of the lighting kind of, you know, take that a little bit away so that it's not as gory, but it's still pretty damn gory. Suspiria, of course, is in there. It was so gory that the filmmakers decided to film it in red light so that you don't see the blood as much. It's kind of like a Human Centipede 2. It's so disgusting. The filmmakers decided to film it in black and white so it doesn't make you puke. Assassination Nation is the last one on this list. I thought this Assassination Nation was a good experience. It was a really good theater experience. There's this one take I can't forget. Assassination Nation was a weird movie, and when the violence is there, it's right in your face. You know, enjoy that. Please enjoy that. So if you like any gore, any blood, you just want to go in and see some blood, watch these films. Next list we have TVs. These are the TV shows that I really like this year. Like them enough to mention it by the end of the year. So these are not in order. Just, you know, keep in mind. Homecoming season 1, I thought it was good. It was fantastic how they play with the aspect ratio, the sound design, and everything. The performances are great. For those people who said that TV can pull off the same thing that a movie can pull off, that's just wrong, you know, technically. Homecoming season 1 is probably the best technically assembled assembled show out there. One of them, at least. The End of the Fucking World, I watched it by the beginning of the year. I love it. I really like it. It's so easy to consume as well. It's like 20 minutes per episode, and there's 8 episodes or something like that. It's so easy. I watched the entire season in 2.5 hours. That's how easy to consume. And then when you when you're done watching it, you feel good. You feel that it's a really touching story, and I think they're making a season 2. But I would say this: don't make a season 2 unless it's about other people. Don't follow the same characters in the same storyline. Follow other characters in other storyline that exists in the same universe. Then I'll probably watch it. But the end of the fucking world season 1, I really like it. The Walking Dead season 9A. Finally, this season, man, like this half season, finally reminds me of why I love The Walking Dead in the first place. This is why I love The Walking Dead, because after season 6, I think season 6 is probably the best season of The Walking Dead. And then season 7 came. Season 8 came. They're just complete disasters. I mean, their structure doesn't make any sense. The AMC cutting their budget, everything they're doing in season 7 and season 8 was an absolute disaster. I walked into the season 9 with not much expectation because I just expect it would be another season 8, another season 7. I was wrong. I mean, Angela Kang took the role of the showrunner. Scott Gimple went up. He I think he was the manager that oversees everything, the Walking Dead franchise. I think Angela Kang is doing a fantastic job with The Walking Dead. I cannot wait to 9B. It's coming up in next month, I believe. I cannot wait. Oh my god, that mid-season finale. It's so insane. I saw it coming. I was waiting for the whispers for a long time, but I never thought that they would reveal it that way. So this is the season, this is the half season at least, that really reminded me why I love The Walking Dead in the beginning. And the next one is The Haunting of Hill House. I love this movie. I mean, I love this TV show. I love this show. God bless you, Mike Flanagan. Just fucking bless you. You know, like when I saw that he was taking over Dr. Sleep, I was kind of skeptical about it because I don't think anyone will have the gut, will have the balls to direct the Dr. Sleep movie. After The Haunting of Hill House, I'm confident that The Shining 2, the sequel to Shining, Dr. Sleep, is gonna be good. Mike Flanagan is probably one of the best horror directors out there. And I cannot wait what he does next. And it's just Oculus, not a lot of people are talking about that one. Oculus is so overlooked, so underrated as well. It's just so unique. I also watched Mike Flanagan's first film. It's called what is it called? It's called Absentia. I thought the film was, it feels like a student film. It probably was a student film. But after that, he hit like a motherfucker. The last one being American Vandal Season 2. It's such a shame that they canceled Season 3. I'm so pissed. I'm still pissed about it because whenever we get a good show like this, the studio canceled it because nobody watched it. And everyone who watched it absolutely loved it. I love Season 1. Season 2, not as good as Season 1, but when Season 1 is so good, when you put your show in such a high pedestal, it's kind of hard to top it. But if I watch Season 2 first before Season 1, my god, this probably will be my favorite show ever. Okay, so these are the shows that I really love in 2018. I might be missing some. Feel free to recommend. Feel free to comment anything that you want about this list. And we're moving on to the last and final list of 2018, and it's called the top 10 list of 2018. And as I always say, and I have to say it every time, these are subjective. These are the films that I personally love. They're not the best of 2018, but by any means, they are just films that I really enjoyed myself watching it, and it really reached me on a personal level. That's why it's on this list. It's extremely subjective. These are just my opinion. If you have other films that are not on the list, don't be mad at me. Leave it in the comments, and then we can talk about it or whatever. It's really subjective, and I want to remind you guys again, 169 is the number of movies and shows that I watched in 2018. So I hope that the top 10 list will actually mean something, because I truly believe there are people out there that are just watching maybe like 50 movies
50 movies a year, and then they make a top 10 list at the end. But like, it doesn't mean as much. If you watch 400 movies that year, you pick that top 10, that should mean something, because that top 10 is better than any other 390 movies. But when you watch only 50 movies, that top 10 is only better than that 40 movies that you watched. I'm just saying that I hope that 169, this number means something to you. It means something to me. It means something to the list. I'm just saying that, okay? Starting with the honorable mention. Honorable mentions are the films that I really, really liked, but they just didn't make it to the top 10 list. But these are still pretty good. I would still recommend watching these. I have actually quite a lot. Crazy Rich Asian, really good. Disobedience, extremely powerful. 8th Grade, really cringy. Free Solo, of course I'm gonna include that. Hereditary, Incredibles 2, The Relation Trip, nobody watched this one, is so abstract in a way. Puzzle, I love Puzzle. I love this movie. I almost put it in my list, but then again, I feel like I put Puzzle on the list just because I watched it recently, and that's not fair. So I thought about it. You know what? I got the safe route. So it's on the honorable mention list. A Quiet Place, it's a really good movie. There are a couple of choices that I don't really agree with when it comes to directing and whatnot, but it's a really innovative one. Love, Simon, really touching. I almost teared up. I will not forget that. Ready Player One, Steven Spielberg got it. Julian Naked is such a refreshing little movie. It's so funny, so cute. Julian Naked, go watch it. No one watched it. No one. Tully is another one. The Tale is that type of movie. You watch it, you don't want to watch it ever again, but it burns into your mind. The Tale is that. Roma, I thought was extremely good. Was an extremely, extremely good movie. The Guilty is another bottle film that it all takes place in one place where Macklemore is Macklemore lookalike. Okay, all right, fine. It's a foreign film. Macklemore is on this call, and that's it. That's the entire film. Utoya, July 22nd. I think I have not been pushing this movie enough. Utoya or You, July 22nd. Watch this movie. It's 90 minutes. Everything was in one shot. No editing, not like Birdman. Go watch this one. So above all, these are the honorable mentions list. So let's just jump into the top 10 list, the true top 10 list. I'm bad with lists. I'm just gonna get that out of the way. I'm really bad at deciding, okay, if I like this one better than the other one, because it's really hard to judge. If I liked it at the moment, if I liked it on the long run, or if I want to rewatch this the most, it's really hard to judge that. So I would say, these are not specific, but I did them the best I can. A lot of the order can be shuffled around later on. It just, right now, I think this is a semi-good ranking of everything of these film lists. First one being Three Identical Strangers, a documentary that changed a lot of things, because I believe everyone who watched it really liked this movie. It's a documentary about a triplet who was separated by birth, and then they reconnected again, and then they figure something out that is really, really dark. The first half was so fun, was so exciting, and then something happens, something that is revealed in the midpoint, and the second half is so powerful that after you watch this movie, you think about yourself. You think about, oh shit, do I have another twin out there? Like, it kind of shapes, it kind of changes your ideas on people a little bit, on these facilities that claims to adopt orphans, these orphanage facilities, or whatever you want to call them. But when I walked out of this movie, I thought, oh, shit, do I have another twin? It has that impact on people, and it explores some of the things that no one has the balls to talk about. And Three Identical Strangers is just great. And I have a friend that studies documentary. I recommended this film to him. I think he watched it, yes. And then after that, he told me how much he really liked Three Identical Strangers. Definitely go catch this one. It's a really good story told in a really good way. And then after you watch it, it lingers into your brain, and then you think about what the film has done to you and how your life might have been different. Number 9, we have Blind Spotting. This film was great. I really like this one because we're in this day and age. I'm gonna say it. We're at a point where films are so close to politics. You know, we're so tired of politics, especially this day and age. And then films that came out that year, The Hate You Give, Monsters and Men, whatever you want to call, you name it, they feel like a propaganda almost. They feel like, okay, they feel like films that are there that to tell you that, okay, racism is wrong. These are the things that are happening in our society today, and then what you should do about it. That's what I feel about those films. Blind Spotting is different. Blind Spotting, it feels like the drama, the cinematic drama that you expect, that you love so much, is being put in front of everything else. It's not preaching these ideas that, okay, racism is wrong, don't kill black people, blah 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 blah. We don't want to hear that. Tell us in the most interesting way possible. Blind Spotting is great. I mentioned it earlier. The rap scene alone is great. The theme is great. What the title mean is great. And also it explores the meaning of the word. Am I gonna say it? The word, the N word, what it really means, how can it affect people? And it's just, I think if you call that a genre, that racism genre or whatever, that type of movies, if you want to watch it, just watch this one. I think it's better than anything else, because The Hate You Give I thought was good. The Monsters and Men I thought was interesting, but they don't beat Blind Spotting because they're putting everything. They're putting politics. They're putting the political ideas before everything else. We might as well just watch a fucking documentary at that point. You know, Blind Spotting, just take an approach to it. So, definitely go watch it. That's my number 9. Number 8, we have Green Book. I really like this one's screenplay because I am a structure guy. I really like the structure of this one. Cinematography is great. Performances are great. I talked about it earlier in the video. And I think what's so good about it is just how great that these two characters can work together. It's funny. It's heartwarming. And it's great to see what they did with these characters and how they can impact each other. I don't know. A lot of people say that this is an Oscar bait or whatever. I think this is a really enjoyable Oscar bait. Okay, it's just great. This is one scene where Mahershala Ali gets out of the car, say his line, and gets back to the car just for that nomination. Goddamn, boy. I mean, you can't help but love this one. It's so funny. It's just so funny. Number 7, we have A Star Is Born. This film really surprised me. When I first watched the trailer, before I stopped watching trailers, it looked like ass. I'm gonna be honest with you. A Star Is Born. Who cares about that shit? The trailer looks like some cheesy, I don't know, romantic, angsty film that teenage girls like to watch, but this film was deep. It is so much deeper than I ever thought. It was so well put together. The directing was so great. Bradley Cooper got snubbed for Best Directing for this film, which surprised me a lot. It is so well directed. The performances are so good, especially from Bradley Cooper. I have no idea how he pulled it off, and it's just so good in this. This movie is really raw. It tells so much about our music industry, our society today. Of course, the role is given to Lady Gaga because the role was written almost for her. It's almost like Eminem in 8 Miles. That's why Lady Gaga can work so well in this film. I feel like it's kind of meta in a way where, you know, she's actually in the industry and then she comes out and make a movie about the industry that exposes it in a way. A Star is Born, it's the 4th remake of A Star is Born. And no one expected it to be good. Yet it surprised everyone else. And when it's snubbed for Best Directing, everyone was pissed about it. A Star is Born is just that. Next one, we have number 6, American Animals. No one watched this movie. No one. No one watched this movie. This is that movie. I said it again. I will say it again. American Animals is that movie. You watched it earlier in the year and everyone loved it. Everyone who watched it loved it. They would say, okay, by the end of the year, this is gonna be in a lot of people's list of the underrated, the overlooked, the best of the year film. Yet at the end of the year, nobody was talking about it. What's up with that, people? American Animals is so well put together. The editing, one of the best of the year. It's about this true story about this group of friends trying to steal this artwork from library. Is a true story. I'm not gonna say how it was told, but it blends 2 style of filmmaking together to make this one unique thing that is so unique in a way. I've never seen it done before, probably, or I might just forget about them. But the ambition, the how the story was told is so good. It got to me personally, I would say that. So that's my number 6. Number 5, we have Annihilation. I never expect this one to be on my list, not even on my honorable mention, because I remember when it first got, I think it was February, I believe. When I first watched it at a screening, I didn't like it. I did not like this movie. I thought it was stupid. I thought Annihilation was trying to be that smart movie that just falls dumb, and I don't get it. I didn't get Annihilation the first time watching it. I just feel like it's just this pile of mess that even the filmmakers don't know what they're doing. Of course, I'm curious. Even though I didn't really like the movie, I'm curious what this movie is about because it makes me think. I went in, I bought a ticket, walked into the second time. I still don't get it. I still don't understand what this movie is about. It's so confusing about this cell coming from another cell because there's a cell that is in existence, and then when they go into the shimmer, there's this house that looks like her house, and when she comes out, there's this blah 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 blah. This everything that I just don't understand. But after the second time, I go back home. I really think about this one. I really thought about the film. I did some research. I listened to what the director said. I listened to some of the actors, what they said about the film. I watched some video essays that other people did. And then I thought about it. Okay, this might be the theory that this might be what this movie is really about. So I went in the third time. I watched it the third time with a brand new perspective, and I really liked this movie. I really like how they pulled this one off. It's really subtle, and you can't help but think about it, and you can't help to really dig into it. And I love that type of movie, that ambiguity in the end. It's so great. Number 4 coming up, we have Searching. This film surprised the hell out of me. This film came out a month after Unfriended Dark Web. You know, it's not a good sign, but Searching surprised the hell out of me on what it could do. What it did, mainly. It changed the whole game, because we have The Den, Unfriended Dark Web. What other films are like that? You know, they're those found footage screen cap films that are done in the past. It becomes a gimmick because it's so easy to produce. It's so easy to put together. The budget is not high. You don't put a lot of money in it, and then you make that budget back in the opening week. Everyone was doing it, and then so of course when Searching was coming out, I was like, oh fuck, another one of these, huh? I was wrong. I'm sorry, everyone behind it, the producers. I'm sorry, the directors. I'm sorry, John Cho. I'm sorry. Searching was great. It's I would say this, go watch this movie without the mind of this one being a screen cap film. You will still like this movie because it's a great thriller on its own. It's a really good thriller with heart behind it, with a good message about parenthood, about their relationship behind their parents and the kids. And, you know, it's not just a plain boring thriller that makes your heart pump. It's also saying so much more. And I'm actually really surprised that this film really didn't get any awards for best editing. I mean, this is definitely one of the best edited film of the year. You know, when we have Screencat film, everything in the past, everything was in real time. When a notification pops out on the corner, when you're watching in the theater, your eyes go all the way up, and then that small ass fucking text, you can't see shit. But in searching, everything is right in the middle, and then they actually edit that shit. There's actually score in the background, and I think that is just. I really appreciate that they try to take this type of format of storytelling to the next level, to just prove everyone beforehand wrong. Okay, we're at the number 3 spot. We're in the top 3 moment now. Number 3, we have You Were Never Really Here. Watching this movie, this first came out in April, I believe. I absolutely love it. The first time I watched it, I absolutely loved it. It feels like a Taxi Driver with drive in it. And I absolutely love it. You know, I thought it was a masterpiece, and then I give it an A+ for fuck's sake. And I love it so much. After the first time I watched it, I went back to read the script, because the script is already online for some reason. I read the script, I studied a little bit, and then I went back to watch it the second time, and the third time I watched it 3 times. It's just so good. It's so subtle. Everything is not in your face this time. It tells a short story about this character that is suffering from PTSD, and it brings you on into his mind because the story is told through his perspective. There are things that you don't see because you don't need to see it. There are things that you have to see, and then it's right into your face. Lynn Ramsey did a fantastic job at directing it. Joaquin Phoenix, one of the best performances of the year. And although the plot feels like Taxi Driver, it still brings a lot of things original to the table. And I really can't praise this movie enough. I feel like this film, I think it's about 88 minutes, something like that, a little bit short of 90 minutes. I think I can watch this movie for 2 hours. I really can, if they stretch it out, some of the moments. And it's really smart, I would say that. You Will Never Really Hear is just a really smart movie. Number two, we have Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I watched this thing 3 times in theater. Twice in Dolby, 1 in a regular theater. I like it each time I watch it. It's so good, and it's just one of the best animation of the decade, maybe ever. And I really love that scene where Peter B. Parker is talking to Miles Morales in his dormitory, and it's this leap of faith scene, and then it cuts to the exterior of the dormitory, and then you see a bunch of characters out there listening, and that scene gets me every single time because it tells so much about what Miles Morales was going at that moment. And of course the theme of the film, it's like we're there but we can't be there, and we're not there. And the score is great, and the animation is great. You hear that a lot. I think what's so impressive about this one is really that not about the action. The actions are great, but you also care about every single character in this film. It's so funny. And when there's comedic moments in there, it hits you hard. Like comedic moments, it hits you hard. And when there's emotional moments, it hits me hard. Like I teared up watching this one. I want to go back and watch it again, but I think I'm probably good for now. I'm not gonna be that that fan. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is almost everything that I wanted. I never expected to be that because it was distributed by Sony, and as you may know, Sony doesn't have a good reputation of making Spider-Man. So yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is picking up an Oscar. It's an animated superhero movie, and it's picking up an Oscar nomination. That should say a lot. Go see it. Definitely go see it. Okay, we're on the number 1. You hear a lot of other people saying, "Oh, this movie is my number 1 of the year." Well, I'm not any different. Mission Impossible Fallout. This is my favorite movie of the year. It's Do I have to explain myself? Because it's Mission Impossible Fallout. Tom Cruise is busting his ass, flying a helicopter, jumping off a roof, fucking, this bare knuckle fight in the bathroom. Mission Impossible Fallout is the action movie that makes all the other action movies look like little bitches. Because Tom Cruise, you know why? Because Tom Cruise is actually doing those shit. He learned how to fly a helicopter. He learned, he built his body up. He did all of his stunts. The action in this one, is one of the best I've ever seen. The bathroom scene, the helicopter scene, the chase scene in Paris is everything. It's just so great. And also, what I really love about Mission Impossible franchise as a whole is really the theme of Mission Impossible. Because why is Mission Impossible better or more talked about than Bond? Why is it more talked about than John Wick or Jason Bourne? Because the theme is so strong. The theme is it feels so relatable. You can watch and easily get onto it, and you don't even realize it, because it's about friendship. Mission Impossible is all about friendship, and this film explores so much about that. Also in Rogue Nation, that one was the theme was explored a lot also, but at the same time, it also makes you really feel for every character in this one. The main character, played by Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt, this character is so active. There are so many difficult choices presented in front of him, yet he makes every single one of them, because that is those hard choices he made, because that was the right thing to do. Ethan Hunt is an active character. He's not passive like a lot of other characters in a lot of other movies where things just happen upon them. Ethan Hunt is taking everything into his own hand, and he's making those hard decisions because others don't have to. He's taking everything on his own. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why we love Mission Impossible so much. The characters are so interesting, and their dynamic with each other is so good. The theme is so relatable. Fallout is the 6th of the franchise, yet it is the best out of the entire franchise. How can you say that? Like, how many films are out there that is the 6th in the franchise and yet is better than any other of the predecessor? I can't think of any right now, at least. So Mission Impossible Fallout is my favorite movie of the year. And of course, there's no surprise here. A lot of people have put this one on their, number one spot. And it's just this film that it's just everyone can get in on it, right? The blockbuster fans can love it. The fucking movie critics can love it. However, when everyone on earth can love a movie, the Academy just cannot like the same movie. Thank you so much for watching this video or listening to this podcast. I doubt anyone is here and listening to the whole stuff. But if you're watching this clip right now, thank you so much for being here. And I'm really looking forward for 2019. The January catch up. I don't know if I'm gonna make that because I'm still on that jet lag. I haven't watched a lot of films that came out in January, but we'll see what happens. But this is probably the final video that I will make about the movies in 2018. I will probably make some videos about individual movies in 2018, but I'm not gonna make it any catch up, any best of the year list, or any list anymore. I'm done with the 2018. Let's move on to 2018. Move on to 2019. And let's wish that 2019 can be just a little bit better than 2018. I'm not talking about 2018 that is bad. I'm just saying that it can be better. So I'm really looking forward for 2019 for films, and of course for this channel, and sharing my thoughts and opinions with you guys. And it's so fun. It's so fun, and I'm really grateful that I can still be here talking about shit. And when I upload, people actually click on it, and that means just so much to me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Yeah, bye.